This is the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Disney spent an estimated $350 million building it. They charged $5,000 per couple for a two-night stay. They opened it in March 2022. 18 months later, Disney killed it. Today in 2026, the building still stands at Walt Disney World, completely empty. The most expensive failure in Disney's theme park history. This is how it happened. To understand how Disney got here, you have to go back to 2012. Disney had just bought Lucasfilm and the entire Star Wars franchise from George Lucas for $4 billion. Disney's chief executive at the time, Bob Iger, had a vision. Star Wars would become the centerpiece of Disney's theme parks. He wanted to build an entire Star Wars-themed land. He wanted Star Wars-themed merchandise. He wanted Star Wars-themed restaurants. And eventually, he wanted to build something nobody had ever attempted in the theme park industry. A fully immersive Star Wars hotel where guests would not just watch the story unfold. They would actually live inside it for 2 days. In 2017, Disney officially announced the project. The hotel would be called the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Guests would board what looked like a real starship, called the Halcyon, pronounced Halcyon. The hotel would have no windows. Instead, every window would be a digital screen showing the views of space. Guests would be assigned to a faction in the story. They would interact with Star Wars characters who lived on the ship. They would participate in lightsaber training, lightsaber duels, and missions that affected the storyline. Their hotel rooms would be styled to look like real spaceship cabins. The illusion would be total. The price point was set at $4,809 for 2 adults for a 2-night cruise. Family packages went up to nearly $6,000. For comparison, a standard luxury hotel room at Disney World cost around $600 per night. The Galactic Starcruiser was over 3 times more expensive per night than the most premium accommodations Disney had ever offered. Disney executives believed Star Wars fans would pay anything to live inside their favorite franchise. Construction began in 2020. The build cost was estimated by industry analysts at around $350 million. Disney never publicly disclosed the exact figure. The hotel was constructed at Walt Disney World in Florida, right next to the existing Star Wars-themed land called Galaxy's Edge. The Galactic Starcruiser was designed to be the ultimate Star Wars experience. 2.5 years of construction, 100 hotel rooms, no windows, and one of the boldest theme park investments in modern history. On March 1st, 2022, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser officially opened to the public. The first guests arrived with their luggage and were given Star Wars costumes to wear. They were greeted by characters from the films. They watched a story play out around them for 48 hours. They participated in role-play events, fake combat scenarios, and themed dining experiences. They learned to wield lightsabers. They were taught the customs and culture of fictional alien species. For the first few weeks, the experience was a hit with hardcore Star Wars fans. Social media filled with photos of guests dressed in robes, holding lightsabers, posing on the bridge of the ship. Influencers and Star Wars content creators were given complimentary stays in exchange for promotional videos. The hashtag Halcyon was trending on Instagram. Initial bookings showed strong demand. Disney executives celebrated. The bold experiment seemed to be working. But within months, the problems started appearing in online reviews. Guests began complaining about the experience. The biggest complaint was the lack of windows. The hotel was designed to feel like a spaceship, which meant no real windows existed anywhere in the building. Every view of the outside was a digital screen showing space. Guests reported feeling claustrophobic. Parents traveling with young children said the experience was overwhelming. Some adults reported feeling nauseous after 2 days without seeing natural light. The second complaint was the price. $5,000 for 2 nights at a Disney hotel was the most expensive accommodation Disney had ever offered. For $5,000, guests said they expected something extraordinary. Many felt the experience, while creative, did not justify the cost. Reviews appeared online comparing the hotel to a corporate team-building exercise, just with lightsabers and bigger costumes. Then came the third complaint. The audience was too narrow. Hardcore Star Wars fans loved the experience. Casual visitors found it strange and exhausting. Disney had built a $5,000 hotel that could only be fully enjoyed by a small fraction of theme park guests. By the summer of 2022, bookings began to slow down. The initial wave of Star Wars enthusiasts, who had been waiting years for the experience, had all visited. The next wave of guests was much smaller. Disney started quietly discounting prices. Marketing emails went out offering reduced rates. Travel agents began promoting cheaper packages. None of it worked. The biggest problem was math. Disney needed to fill 100 hotel rooms at $5,000 per stay every 2 nights just to break even on operating costs alone. That meant they needed to be running at nearly full capacity every single day. The Galactic Starcruiser could only host 100 families at a time, and each family stayed for 2 nights. That gave Disney less than 100 new bookings every 2 days. With staff, operations, character actors, and constant constant theme upkeep, the hotel was estimated to be losing money even when fully booked. By the fall of 2022, the social media buzz had collapsed. Influencers had moved on to other Disney attractions. The hashtag was no longer trending. Disney's promotional emails stopped getting open. New travel reviews on platforms like TripAdvisor were trending negative. The most common headline was that the experience felt overrated and overpriced. In November of 2022, Disney's chief executive Bob Chapek, who had championed the project's completion, was suddenly fired. Bob Iger returned as Disney's chief executive after a 3-year retirement. Iger had originally approved the Galactic Starcruiser concept years earlier. Now he was returning to a company where one of his pet projects was visibly failing. He needed to make a hard decision quickly. By early 2023, the hotel was reportedly running at less than 50% capacity. Disney had been discounting prices for months. The marketing strategy had collapsed. The Star Wars fan base had been served. There was no path forward to making the project profitable. On May 18, 2023, Disney made the announcement. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser would close permanently on September 30, 2023. The decision came just 14 months after the hotel opened. The closure announcement was buried in a regular financial update. There was no press conference. There was no formal explanation. Disney simply said the project was being discontinued due to underwhelming demand. The reaction was massive. Star Wars fans flooded social media with anger. Some had paid for stays months in advance for the summer of 2023. Disney offered full refunds and discounted future Disney stays. Travel industry analysts called the decision one of the fastest hotel shutdowns in modern history. $5,000 luxury experiences do not usually fail in 18 months, but this one did. Throughout the summer of 2023, Disney ran the hotel at full capacity as a final farewell tour. Fans flew in from around the world to experience the Galactic Starcruiser one last time. Reviews of these final stays were dramatically more positive. The fans who came were diehard Star Wars enthusiasts who knew this was their last chance. The experience worked for them. It just did not work for the wider Disney audience. On September 30th, 2023, the final cruise ended. The guests departed. The character actors hung up their costumes. The kitchen staff cooked their final meal. The lightsaber instructors packed away their training equipment. The hotel went dark. Approximately 120 employees were laid off or transferred to other Disney properties. 18 months after opening, the most ambitious hotel project in theme park history was officially dead. Bob Iger had returned to Disney to fix the company's finances. The Galactic Starcruiser was one of the first major projects he chose to kill. He never publicly discussed his reasoning in detail, but the math was simple. A $350 million investment that could not even cover its operating costs was an unacceptable loss for a company already under pressure from shareholders. Today, in 2026, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser building still stands at Walt Disney World, completely unused. The exterior is sealed off. The parking lot sits empty. The 2.5-year construction project that cost $350 million has been left to deteriorate. Disney pays an estimated several $100,000 per year just to maintain the building, keep the climate control running, and prevent damage from Florida humidity. Several plans have been floated for what to do with the building. Industry analysts have suggested converting it into a regular Disney World hotel. The problem is, with no windows, no regular hotel guests would want to stay there. Other proposals have included turning it into corporate event space, a Disney-themed conference center, or even demolishing it entirely and rebuilding the site as a new attraction. Disney has not publicly committed to any plan. The building is now one of the most expensive abandoned structures on Disney property. The original construction cost of $350 million has been written off. The lost revenue from 18 months of operation is gone. The brand damage to Disney's reputation for ambitious projects is still being measured. Industry analysts estimate the total financial loss from the Galactic Starcruiser project at over $500 million when accounting for construction, operations, and missed opportunity. For Disney, the Galactic Starcruiser has become a warning sign. Bob Iger has publicly stated that he is more cautious about big swing projects now. The next generation of Disney theme park attractions has been quietly scaled back. The era of $350 million luxury hotel experiments at Disney appears to be over. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser failed because Disney made one massive miscalculation. They believed Star Wars fans would pay anything to live inside their favorite franchise. The data showed they were wrong. There were not enough superfans willing to pay $5,000 for a 2-night stay to fill 100 rooms every single day for years. The hotel was too expensive, too narrow, and too disconnected from how most people enjoy theme parks. Today, the Halcyon sits silent in the Florida sun, a $5,000 dream that lasted 18 months, a windowless monument to corporate overconfidence, and a permanent reminder that even Disney, with billions of dollars and the most beloved franchise in entertainment history, can build a hotel that nobody wants to stay in. Would you have paid $5,000 to live inside Star Wars for 2 nights? The answer is in the comments.